All right then, so we're 13 weeks out as of yesterday. So it's this morning we're gonna go and hit shoulders and hamstrings. So straight away I'm liking to find out how they're feeling. Any aches and pains? If so, all warm-up sets. So we're starting off with the side dumbbell raise, lateral raise, whatever people like to talk of it. I vary really between a seated one and a standing one. So if I'm doing the seated one, I always tend to go down here and then I can really get in close and feel the tension building. And I'm visualizing really that structure of the shoulder, that ball that comes out nicely. That's what I really want to try and create. So, and that's what I'll be after this morning, is engaging in that. And as everything's slimming down, there's gonna be some outer heads popping. There's a guy, American guy, Mountain Dog or something, I'll think of his name better, but he's a really good fella. Sadly, he's passed away, but his shoulder training was really good, and it's somebody I picked up a lot of. His ideas, like his videos are still worth watching, really informative. And he said things like, consider raising your elbows rather than your hands, because when people get carried away with raising their hands, so say like if I raise my hands now and go there, they're really just, they're behind me. They're not actually in line. So if I raise my elbows, now the elbows are parallel and in line where I want them to be. Another good thing about him is he loved bodybuilding as well, which is quite nice. He wasn't necessarily a successful bodybuilder, professional in his own right and things like that, but I don't think he saw himself as that. He was more into the training. My main focus of my exercise is going to be a seated shoulder press, which I quite like. That's where the belly of the work's going to come in. That's going to be the high set. The delts are really awake and firing very early in the session. The other thing I get from doing any exercise standing is obviously I'm having to brace myself from the floor up. So my legs are involved, my torso's involved, my core's involved. Okay, so what I like to do for the front one is disc raise. Need some fake weights or something. So this is going to be our main exercise for shoulders. So it will get some big number of sets and things like that. Five or six would be nice, hopefully. Again, we're very fortunate here this morning. We're up and at it before anybody else has got in. So no limited number of getting to exercises, so we don't have to worry about that today. But today, it's like it's a real grind. This morning is a grind day. You can feel it straight away. And it's like I've said in the past, it's easy to say you've got to welcome the tough days to know that you're on a different journey to everybody else. But this morning is there. It's real. It's tough. It'd be easy to go home. So with it being a tough day, and I've already acknowledged that, you know, it'd be an easy day to run out the door. I've now got to persist and press and just present a really good argument to my body. The fact that it's happening regardless, like it or not, it's happening. I'm very sorry, it's happening. So, you know, the shoulders can squeal, the shoulders can give me as much grief as they want to give. Today's mindset is tough. It's happening anyway. So, you know, I normally push 100 kilos on here. I can make 20 kilos hurt today. I know that. But 100 kilos is the number that's got to move. Now that's beauty. That is absolutely wonderful. Because who's winning the argument? That's my question there now. So straight pushing it off there, failed on it. So I'm going to do myself a little bit of a favour. We'll start at a higher point. Well, that's it. All right. Now I'm winning. Now I'll feel the whole session will begin to change in my favor and in progress's favor, away from weakening. And I don't mean that weakening strength-wise, I mean true weakening in my mindset, in why we're here. Why are we here Sunday morning? We're not here for the fun of it. So we're moving it on to combining a couple of exercises. I'm starting to build up on a working weight on the shrugs. I like to use this, I think it's a Nautilus bit of a kit. I remember when Sean Roden visited this gym when he was coming around on his Olympia tour. It brought him in here and it was wonderful. But the one main thing that bit of kit that he was impressed with was this machine here. And I'd always sort of taken it for granted. And then when I saw him moving it around in all different directions and him saying to his trainers that he wanted the use of one of these, then I thought, right, it's about time I start to use this. So I use it a lot for deadlifts and shrugs because I just think it allows me to focus on the weight that I'm moving rather than my technique in such a serious way. But, you know, because obviously the weight cannot swing away from me. So it means I can be a bit more direct in where I'm drawing it up through. I've got a few things written on my board in my room here at the gym on a big whiteboard. And one of the ones that comes into my head now is you've got two choices. We've either got pain of discipline, you can choose that one, or the pain of the regret from the work that we didn't do. I'm choosing the pain of discipline every single time. So if it comes to food discipline, I'd prefer to have a hungry belly than to have a fat belly saying, wish I hadn't have eaten that Chinese with 3 weeks to go or whatever. Take our choices. And this is when people say things like, oh, I couldn't do what you do. I couldn't go that far, mate. Well, that's all right. I'm not asking you to. I'm not asking you to go to bed hungry. I'm not asking you to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go for a walk. But that's exactly what I'm asking myself to do. So my choice for rear delt at the moment is the reverse pec deck. Basically, it's where I feel the best feeling in the muscle, I suppose, engagement with the muscle. Now, I'm fortunate on this one to be in short because what I've found is standing hits me better than sitting and using the handles. So we're looking for a pinch across the back of the shoulders. Now then I'll throw this exercise in also sometimes on a back workout, depending on where I'm at. If I feel I need a little bit more work to bring out the lumps and bumps, as I like to call them, across the back of the shoulders, well, I'm gonna come here a little bit more often. But yeah, the good thing here as well, and what I'm trying to do is on this particular exercise, I could be going all the way around here. And for me there, you've lost the tension out of this little fella here that I'm trying to work, that rear delt. So by stopping short of the full movement and working in a smaller range of motion, for me it fires it far more because I can just keep switching it on and off, on and off, on and off. Yeah, so now we'll go to that one that John Meadows sort of showed me. What my clients have nicknamed the Penguin. And it's a great finisher for those side delts where we started all that time ago on them side delts. This is where they come in. So without being silly, what I'm trying to do here on these partials is hold a much larger weight in my hands, move them a lot more lesser range of motion, sorry. So I'm never at vertical, so the weight never comes off. And I'm there, out in front, and back, and back, and back. Right, so we're doing a bit of a transition now from shoulders into hamstrings or legs, but dominated by the rear chain. You know, I've set up in my head now, 3 exercises. Kettlebell swing, then I'm going to do a squat from a raised area with the kettlebell as the resistance, then a hyperextension using the kettlebell. So this kettlebell is going to follow me on these 3 exercises. All right. So it's raised my heart rate. So this is how I can hopefully do less cardio, because I don't like it. So if I can stay away from the treadmill and walking or the Stairmaster, I'm going to. So first time through there, and we'll go for 3 of these. So it's leaving me quite dizzy, quite fatigued. It's coming back now. But so with the kettlebell swing, still hanging off my shoulders. It's hanging off those traps where I was shrugging not so long back. So I'm finishing them off. But also because of the action of the kettlebell swing, driving through with the pelvis, engaging the glutes, hamstrings, a little bit of quads. But that's getting that ready then for the hyperextensions, where I can bring more of a focus onto my glutes. And also this is where you notice your lack of carbohydrates in your diet when you start increasing the intensity. I learn a lot of the exercises I put into my program and what I put into my clients' programs from watching ladies' physiques train and how they engage with things. Now, if you look at most bikini things and things like that online and cut through all the fluff, they're all glute orientated and things like that, hamstring orientated. So, you know, ultimately that's where we can learn an awful lot. Fellas, it's all quads orientated. And then they do basic curls like they're training their bicep, which has its merit. But for me there, what I was thinking about was on this boxes, dragging my heels towards each other as I push up. Now then, with the posing that Darren has been introducing me to, I'm actually engaging with muscles that he wants me to show and how he wants me to show them during this exercise. So I just do another set of these. So I've put myself in the range of motion of where I can feel what he's talking about the most. So as I go down there and then squeeze heels together, that's how I'm coming up. I'm actually coming up by trying to drag my heels together. And that's transferring into my hamstrings and glutes. See, and that actually hurts right up here. And again, I'm trying to stay here in the range of motion that works my glutes. If I go higher, it'll hit my lumbar area of my back, and I don't want it. I'm after glutes. And that's that circuit. Finish. Leaving me dizzy, leaving me a bit bandy in the breathing. You know, but the carbs are right down now. Okay, that's nice and light. I do like this, the one-legged hamstring curl. Particularly like a cable one, if you can ever get on one, they're wonderful. Because the resistance never eases off. So the big difference here on today, when I'm working this one in with, because I'll use this an awful lot through the week, but when it's part of my hamstring and glute work, and the way we've done it today, working with shoulders, being at the end will mean that I'm far weaker on it than what I would have been if it had been at the start. So and the other thing I do on this is once the weight is up, it's up. So there's no noise taking place. I'm not banging down between repetitions. It's not landing. I'm not getting any rebound off that machine at all. It's up, it's in my glutes. I'm gonna turn the heat up and it's gonna get cranked up and cranked up and cranked up, never released. Okay, and that then really draws an end to our sort of like shoulder, glute, hamstring workout today. But now that we're getting closer, I'm starting to introduce ab exercise every day. Highest bench is what you want here that you can get your hands on. Sit yourself right on the end of the bench, feet and toes and knees together and underneath. All right, so bring my knees up here and I come up and have a look. Then I'm pushing my hands and my feet out in front and then I come up. And now the whole of the upper and lower, all the way through the six pack is under tension. And then as I come back down, it releases. So the knees come up with the feet, which protects my lower back, and then I kick them out in front. If I brought up straight away, straight legs like that, this will raise, my lower back will raise off the bench, and all the stresses will be on my lower back, and I'll hurt myself. Whereas if I curl up like that, the pressure that's on my lower back there is perfect. Then I'm pushing through with my belly button and out with the feet. And I'm doing it in what I'd call a TikTok formation really. It's all very, very much structured. Knees come in, I go down. Knees come up, I come up, feet go out, pressure on the belly button. Nothing flows. And that is excruciating in the abs. Now I can make this harder by now coming up, taking my arms out to the side, and then moving my feet. I can make it harder by my arms going over my head, by extending those levers, by getting everything as far from the working muscle as possible. Yeah, when you consider, so like there's My side poses, calf, bang, right? That doesn't matter whether it's chest or tricep, calf is on. If I go to any rear poses, it's calf, again, they're on. So, and when you think that if the judges, they're down where your camera is now, they're looking up. So they're gonna come up my body. So the first thing they're gonna see is my calf, and then they're gonna come up. Now then that's for 4 of the mandatory poses. Now you think about that. So I've got 4 poses, and before we get to the knee, I should be ahead. That's the way I'm thinking. 4 poses, I'm ahead. Now then, what happens as we get up past the knee? I've probably cocked it up, but at least I'm ahead at that stage. Okay, and the other thing I'm conscious of when I'm training calves, it always has the possibility, it's a strong possibility of cocking up all your life if you then, you snap an Achilles tendon or something like that, then realistically you've blown everything and you're in for something very excruciating. So it has to be trained with caution in my mind, full range of motion, only using as much weight as needed to make it change.